Hi guys! So today we have a pretty special unboxing video. A little while ago, the lovely people over at MGA contacted me and they asked if I was interested in reviewing some Dream Ella products, which honestly kind of surprised me, as when I first talked about these dolls, I wasn't very nice about them. Even for budget dolls, they're just not impressive and aren't bringing anything new. But I'm still so honored and so excited to be a part of the launch, and maybe having the dolls here with me might change some of my initial impressions. We'll definitely see. To get serious for just a moment, this has been a really rough week for me, to say the least. I talked about it a little bit in my community tab, but I was recently in a pretty rough car accident earlier this week, and I'm not seriously injured, I'm fine, but it's still been a pretty difficult recovery, both mentally and physically. And just coming home last night and seeing this big, huge box with my channel name on it, opening it to find a bunch of dolls, it was just such a magical experience, and it was exactly what I needed, and I'm just really happy to be able to do this. So, Dream Ella here definitely has an interesting history. I know when she was first trademarked, we all expected her to be intended to be like this direct competitor to Barbie, and I think that's still true, obviously, just looking at the dolls and the whole concept of following your dreams and career dolls and all, but they also seem to have went in a much different direction than we initially thought. And different doesn't always mean bad. And first impressions and Barbie comparisons aside, I really want to go into these with an open mind and just judge them as their own thing. And who knows? Maybe fall in love. Maybe I will be an Elenator by the end of this. Stay tuned. That joke might have been funnier if they kept the original Dream Aria name. So, I have 3 big boxes here with me. It looks like essentially just one for each character. So each box has a career doll, a color change doll, and then there's also 2 unicorns here. So what I think I'm going to do is take one thing from each box, review also the card they sent me, just to give a good idea of everything here. Now, I did receive these products for free, but that is not going to influence my thoughts on these dolls. This is going to be an honest review, obviously, but because I did not pay for them, that might subconsciously make me more forgiving of certain things that might be a deal breaker for you. But with that in mind, let's get into it. So we're going to unbox the career dolls first. I chose to do Yasmin, and first impressions, not horrible, but I do have to say she just still kind of bores me. And I have to say I love the artwork for all of the dolls. Like, if you know who the artist is and if they have any kind of social media presence, absolutely let me know so I can follow them. Artwork great. But let's get her open and take a closer look. The good news is that she was very easy to get out of the box, and I have to say she feels very substantial. Like, she has a very decent weight to her that I didn't really expect. She feels very sturdy. And dolls at her budget level, the career dolls, go for about $9 USD. They're typically aimed at a younger audience, so I do think she's going to stand up to some moderately rough play without like limbs flying off or anything. If you've ever had a dollar store doll, you know what I mean. All you have to do is cough on them and like their legs will fall right off. But I don't think that's gonna be a problem with these. But yeah, unfortunately I don't have a Barbie I can compare her to, but I think she feels about as equally substantial, if just a little less. She has the standard 5 points of articulation. Her head turns left and right. Both shoulders, and both legs. Her hair was another big surprise. It feels so nice, and it's pretty textured. It's crimped really, and it has some really nice length as well. Also some really nice volume. I don't really want to take her ponytail out to look at the rooting, but it looks fine from what I can tell. I don't know if you can see on camera. It looks like She might be a little bit bald under there. That's usually par for the course for dolls with ponytails like this. And also, I don't think this style will measure up to play like her body will. This will probably come off pretty easily. It's already kind of coming apart right now just from taking her out of the package. But overall, I'm pretty impressed with the hair. So her outfit feels fine. It's about what I expected. She has the pink scrub top here, the white pants, and some fairly sensible shoes. Like, she's not Dr. Barbie performing open heart surgery and pink pumps or anything. But something interesting is that underneath the shoes here, she actually has an arched foot, so she can wear heels if she wants to. Or just some sensible white doctor shoes if the need calls. And I don't have a Barbie to compare, but just looking at them, I can already tell her foot is pretty massive, so I don't think she's going to be sharing any shoes with Barbara on that note. Her only accessory is this stethoscope, and it is a plastic stethoscope for sure. Not much to say about it, but oh, I did notice that it does actually fit in her ears pretty well, so that's fun. It does not, however, want to stay on her neck. Now, her face. What I think will be the main talking point here. I'm still honestly not completely sold on the faces. They're definitely not the worst faces I've ever seen. Like, they actually kind of remind me a little bit of the old school She-Ra dolls. So I don't know what it is exactly. I think maybe she just looks a little bit older than they intended her to, and it's kind of the same with all three of them. But for some people, that might be a plus. I don't know. My issue with Yasmin here isn't necessarily a quality thing, like just feeling her clothes. I can tell she's pretty decent quality. It just comes down to the design, which I understand is very subjective, but just looking at everything else in her budget range, they just look more interesting and visually appealing. And maybe it's MGA's goal to be more grounded and realistic with the career dolls in order to stand out, but I personally would just gravitate more towards a doll that takes it to that next level. So, you know, if they do more career dolls, I kind of hope they elevate them and have a little more fun with them, so to speak. But let's take a look at her body, which I'm guessing won't be a surprise. Yeah, so it's more or less what I expected. Basic, articulated, kind of Barbie proportioned body. She does look slightly thicker than Barbie might be, so I'm guessing she could probably share clothes pretty well with the curvy body type, just not shoes, because again, she does have much larger feet, which they're really well proportioned for her body, so I guess that just puts into perspective how small Barbie's feet are. But looking at her clothes, again, pretty basic. It's not lined or anything, but it does look to be pretty well constructed. It's just kind of that really crinkly, fake, satiny material, which, again, I just kind of expected. The pants they're really nice, though. They're very stretchy. I'm not sure the material exactly, but they are just kind of, you know, basic white, stretchy pants. Pretty versatile, though, you know, for redressing and such. And again, the shoes are just pretty basic white kind of doctor nurse shoes. But yeah, that's Yasmin. Super easy to dress and undress. But before we look at another doll, I'm actually going to check out one of those unicorns. So the unicorns go for about $13 USD, so more expensive than either of the dolls, which is a little strange to me. But the unicorn I chose here is Ocean, who corresponds to Ella. Again, the artwork is so cute. But let's open her up and get a better look at her. The box is pretty self-explanatory. You get the unicorn, of course, and a little butterfly brush, which is pretty cute. Again, the hair is better than expected. Of course, you get all that tinsel in there, which is going to become tangled pretty easily, but it's a unicorn. I can't be too mad at them for using tinsel. If you hear my cat destroying my couch in the background, I'm sorry. But, I don't really collect, like, plastic horses, so I can't really comment on the standard of them or anything. But she feels decently sturdy, and she'll probably be fine for younger kids, but she is just like a solid hunk of plastic. There's no movement anywhere or anything, so that's something to keep in mind. But something interesting here is that these unicorns have the same mold as the old Bratz horses, which on some level I think is really cool, but on another level I just find this sculpt personally a little unsettling. Like, I'm not a horse girl. I'm actually very afraid of horses, so it just weirds me out a little to see this blue fantasy horse be so weirdly realistic and like muscular, but then it has these sparkling cartoon doe eyes. I don't know, but that's just me. The paint job is pretty decent. I'm not seeing like any errors or anything, but I guess the only really thing that's painted is she has some details in her face. On her nose here it's sprayed, and she actually has some blush, along with these glittery hooves. Also the little decal, which this one feels like it's gonna rub off eventually, so that's also something to be careful with. I actually think the colors on it are very cute. They're all very pretty together. But the unicorns I don't think are really for me. I wonder if the dolls can ride them though. So they look a bit silly, but yeah, the dolls actually can ride the horses pretty decently. You know, if that's your thing and you want to pose your dolls on a unicorn, that is an option available to you. Alright, and now we have what will hopefully be the most fun unboxing, the color change surprise fairy doll, which these go for about $10, and if the pattern of these big boxes is to be expected, this should be Aria, who is the purple one. And I'm pretty excited. I've never bought a Barbie color reveal before, so this will be my first time doing anything like this. And the box is pretty straightforward. On the back here it says everything that it comes with. You get the doll, the sponge, the wig, the skirt, and some shoes. So let's open her up, get some water, and check her out. So here she is in her cryogenic state, a very pretty metallic purple, and the tub we'll be using to reveal her. The tub thing is definitely a little less intuitive than the Barbie color reveal tubes. Like, if you get these for a small child, definitely supervise them because you might end up with glittery water all over the carpet. But the packaging is completely recyclable. Even the packages here, they're paper, not plastic. So that's really neat and could be like a cute little teaching moment. But enough on that. Let's free her. So it looks like the color does come off pretty easily, and it's like actually pretty satisfying. You're probably gonna have to help her a little bit. Like, I don't think you can just let her soak there, unfortunately, but you know, you can just count it as part of the experience. Though, warning, the color does come off a little bit on your hands. But while she melts, let's open up her accessories. So here we have her shoes, which are actually kind of super cute. her little glittery skirt, tutu kind of thing, which is the only fabric piece you're going to be getting here. Here's her wig, which, again, does feel fairly nice. And then we have her sponge, which is going to be used for some more reveals later. So it looks like Arya is all revealed now, so let's dry her off and dress her up. So a few things of note. While they're in the water, they definitely do retain water down in their joints, so be wary of that. Her articulation is exactly the same as Yasmin's, but weirdly her head is very, very loose. I don't know if that's typical of these or if it's just mine. Some of her joints have the same range of motion as Yasmin, but others, I don't know if they're just very stiff or if they don't, but her arms only go up and down. She has one leg that swivels and one leg that it's very hard to swivel, but it does. So I'm not sure what's happening there. Very interesting though. Okay, so the wig. It's not it. It's not giving. I think I'm gonna try and trim some of this plastic off, see if that helps. If you do this, please be very careful. Don't blame me for any disasters. This is purely for my own curiosity. And also you can see just how loose her head is because it will not... it won't stand up to the weight of this wig. Okay, so trimming helped a little bit. I still think it looks a little bit awkward, but I think doll wigs, they're always gonna look a little bit weird. They're just not very easy to execute, especially at this price range, and it definitely could be worse, but it does feel fairly decent. All that said, my thoughts on her are basically the same as Yasmin. The quality and execution, aside from some minor things like her joints seeming to not work properly, it's there. I just think the designs are lacking for me personally. The dolls, the color change surprise ones, they're meant to be fairies, and I think the shoes are definitely the best part. These are super cute, super fun, but as a whole, they just could have gone a lot further with it. But again, that's very subjective. You might think differently. Like, for instance, I know I said I wanted the dolls to be a lot more fun, but I actually think the more over-the-top makeup on these, it does their face mold a bit of a disservice. Like, this very mature face is just so at odds with everything else that's going on. And you might think that's a positive, because I think there is a place for fashion dolls that look more like adult women. I just think it could have been executed a little better. I don't know. So she does have a few color change surprises beyond the initial reveal, which is where this sponge comes in. It says that these need to be done in ice water, so I have a little cup of ice water there. So let's see. So something's supposed to change if you wipe her hair streak here. But nothing is changing for me. There's also supposed to be something with her face. Again, nothing. I'm just getting her very wet. Okay, I just went and rubbed an ice cube on her face and it showed up for a minute, but as soon as I brought her over here, it went away. So unfortunately, the color reveal, it looks like on the faces, it's not very practical, at least for mine. I can't say that's disappointing for me personally, but for some people, especially for kids who look forward to that kind of thing, it might be a little disappointing for them. I don't know if they'll continue with the color surprise dolls. They're not something I ever see myself buying for me necessarily, but I do think there might be a foundation for something pretty cool, especially for the price. A few things they need to be executed a little better, and Most of my issues just come down to personal taste, and really just for what I look for in dolls, and the Dream Ella dolls, they just unfortunately miss the mark for me slightly in that. But there is potential there. I'm curious where it'll go from here, honestly. But we do have one more thing to look at, and it's the super cute Dream Ella car cruiser. So there goes my cat destroying the couch again, but let's take a look at that. So here is the car, which according to the box has a rotating steering wheel, a personalized license plate, wheels that spin, and it can fit 2 dolls. Again, the art is super cute. I love the little cardboard cutouts here, but let's get it out and play around a little bit. And here it is with Aria and Yasmin snugly inside. It was a bit of a struggle getting them in there. It's actually because for some reason, if your doll is wearing shoes, they just will not fit inside. So to get them inside the car, they do have to be barefoot. But the wheels do indeed spin. The steering wheel, it does rotate. The personalized license plate is a sticker here on the back, and that's true for most of the details on the car, like the backlights and the headlights here are just stickers. The car goes for about $15, and doll cars are not something I ever really buy, so I don't actually know if that's a good price or not. But stickers aside, I do think just the actual sculpt of the car is really nice. I don't know if it's reused or not, and it does feel fairly well made, pretty lightweight, but it will probably stand up to some pretty heavy playtime. Just speaking as someone who doesn't own any other doll cars, I kind of like it. But now it's time for you guys to let me know what you think. Are you getting any Dream Ella stuff? Do you own any Dream Ella stuff? Or maybe you think she's a skip and I actually want to hear why. But as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and a big thank you to MGA for thinking of me and sending me the dolls. I know I'm not really known for unboxing, so this was probably pretty rough, so thank you for sticking it out with me. Unboxings are never going to be a big focus here, but they're still fun to do every now and then, and like I said, I needed this nice little relaxing doll unboxing experience, and I had fun, and I hope you did too. If you did, just be sure to like and subscribe and check out any more fashion doll content. Thank you!